Imagine you have just won your first massive corporate client.
Oh, the dream, right?
Exactly. You are celebrating. You finally, hung your own shingle. The ink on the contract is dry, and the future just looks incredibly bright.
Right.
And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, a hacker locks down your entire server.
Wow.
Yeah. Holding highly sensitive merger strategies for ransom. I mean, for a new business, that is a nightmare. But for a startup law firm, that isn't just a bad day, it is an extinction level event.
It completely shatters the foundation of the business because, in the modern digital economy, regardless of your industry, understanding how hypersensitive data is managed and weaponized is critical.
Right.
But in the legal field, that data is the literal currency of your reputation.
Which brings us to the mission of today's deep dive. We are unpacking a pretty fascinating promotional guide from a company called moremax.net.
Yeah, a very specialized guide.
Right. They are a specialized technology partner tailored entirely for law firm startups. And our goal today is to really examine the invisible, high-stakes digital architecture required to actually launch and run a modern legal practice.
It's a lot more complex than people think.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this, you, the listener. You might be a lawyer prepping to launch a firm, or you might just be, fascinated by how high-level data security works behind the scenes.
Yeah, the mechanics of it.
Exactly, because the source material paints a picture of a modern legal practice that requires far more than just legal acumen. You have to build a flawless digital infrastructure from the ground up, because to a hacker, well, a law firm is not just a standard business.
No, not at all. It is a high-value target. What's fascinating here is the text actually refers to a secure law firm as a vault.
A vault?
Yeah. I mean, think of what sits inside that vault. It's not just internal payroll or, HR emails. It is every matter the firm handles.
Right, the really sensitive stuff.
Exactly. Unpatented corporate strategies, impending divorce financials, deeply personal medical records. A hacker knows that a law firm aggregates the most sensitive data of dozens, sometimes hundreds, of wealthy individuals and corporations.
All in one centralized location.
All sitting right there.
That makes the technology infrastructure the actual walls of the vault. Which, leads us to the first major operational hurdle a new managing partner is going to face.
The IT choice.
Yes. You launch your firm, you need robust tech support, so you just reach out and hire a highly rated standard IT company. But the source material argues that this is a massive vulnerability. They call it the translation gap.
Yeah, the translation gap is a brilliant conceptualization of the disconnect between general technical competence and specialized professional requirements.
Right.
Because standard IT providers are highly skilled at keeping servers running and, keeping software updated. They completely lack the context of the legal environment.
Right. I was actually thinking about it like this. Hiring a standard IT company to run a high-stakes law firm is like hiring a Michelin star pastry chef to run a surgical ICU.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. I mean, they have a spotless environment. They absolutely know how to work under immense pressure, and their technical execution is flawless.
Right.
But if a patient's heart stops, they do not speak the language of the operating room. They don't know how a defibrillator works.
That analogy hits the nail on the head because the failure point is entirely about context and language.
Yeah.
The text explicitly details what traditional IT gets wrong.
Yeah.
And they do not understand billable hours.
No.
They do not understand docketing systems or how those systems need to interface with external court APIs.
Because to a standard IT provider, a server going down for an hour on a Tuesday afternoon it's a routine maintenance hiccup.
Right, exactly.
They just put in a support ticket and say, oh, we'll have you back online after lunch.
But to a lawyer, that same hour of downtime is a catastrophe.
Oh, absolute panic.
Think about it. If an electronic filing portal locks at 11:59 p.m., and your system is down for a routine update at 11:30 p.m., you miss a court-mandated deadline. Wow. That is not an inconvenience. That is potential malpractice. You could literally lose a client's case on a technicality and permanently damage your career.
And that specific, contextual problem is exactly what moremax.net was engineered to solve. They bridge that translation gap.
They do.
The text actually highlights a very compelling piece of their origin story. The company was founded by François Joubert, who is himself a law school graduate.
And that background fundamentally changes the service model.
Right. It has to.
Mormax lives natively at the intersection of law and technology. The source notes that they literally speak lawyer.
Speaks lawyer. Yeah.
So when a startup partners with them, they aren't spending the first 3 months explaining to their IT vendor why a certain document has to be preserved in a specific format for discovery.
Because there's no translating required. The vendor inherently knows that court deadlines are non-negotiable.
Exactly.
So we've established that the firm is a highly targeted vault, and you need security architects who actually understand the stakes of what's inside. But I want to challenge the premise of the source material for a moment.
Okay, let's hear it.
Wait, if a firm is meeting all its legal tech compliances, isn't that enough? Why does this source emphasize a trademarked system? I mean, why overcomplicate it if you are legally in the clear?
That is the million-dollar question, because there is a massive and often fatal difference between being compliant and being defensible.
Defensible, okay.
Yeah, compliance is simply a checklist. It is the absolute bare minimum standard set by a regulatory body so that, if you are audited, you avoid a fine.
Right.
But a checklist does not actively stop a sophisticated cyber syndicate from breaching your firewall.
Ah, so compliance keeps the regulators away, but it doesn't do a single thing to keep the criminals away.
Precisely. You can be 100% compliant on paper and still suffer a catastrophic breach. And going back to that chilling phrase from the text, an extinction-level event. Clients do not fire you because your server was offline for a day. They fire you because trust is fundamentally broken.
Yeah, that's gone forever.
Imagine calling a CEO to explain that their acquisition target was leaked to the press because your junior associate's email was compromised. You don't just lose the client, you lose your entire standing in the legal community.
So the real question is, how does Mormax actually move a firm from just, checking the compliance boxes to becoming practically defensible?
They utilize a proprietary trademarked framework called Cyber Essentials for law firms.
Okay.
It is a three-pronged architecture: protect, control, and comply. But I want to be clear, these aren't just buzzwords. They represent a really strict sequential defense mechanism. The first phase, protect, is about establishing an active perimeter.
Meaning this isn't just installing an antivirus software and hoping it catches a bad file.
Far from it. This involves 24/7 active heuristic monitoring.
Heuristic monitoring?
Yeah. The system is constantly analyzing network traffic for anomalies. So if a device suddenly starts trying to encrypt hundreds of files at midnight...
Which is classic ransomware behavior.
Exactly. The system recognizes that behavioral pattern and isolates that machine from the network instantly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before the damage can even spread to the rest of the vault.
Okay, so that active monitoring protects the outside perimeter. But once you've set up those alarms, how do you let your own lawyers actually work inside the vault without tripping the security every 5 minutes?
Right, that's the trick.
Which naturally leads to the second phase control.
And this is where standard IT usually fails law firms miserably. Control refers to implementing privileged access management, or zero trust architectures.
Zero trust.
Yes. In a generic setup, if a hacker gets into one employee's account, they can often just move laterally across the whole server.
Like having the master key to the whole building?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Mormax locks the internal systems down so that a junior paralegal, for example, only has digital clearance to view the specific case files they are assigned to.
I mean, I see the value there, but there is a major friction point. If the security protocols require a lawyer to, authenticate their identity for 10 minutes every single time they want to open a simple PDF,
They're going to hate it.
they're just going to find a workaround. They'll start emailing documents to their personal Gmail accounts, which completely defeats the purpose of the vault.
That is the ultimate paradox of cybersecurity. Security that severely hinders productivity is failed security.
Right.
But the Mormax architecture is designed to enforce that strict access control seamlessly in the background, without slowing the legal team down at all.
Which brings us to the third pillar, comply. If the defense is active and the internal access is controlled, how does this handle all the regulatory paperwork?
By baking the compliance directly into the system architecture from day one. Because law firms don't just deal with state bar rules.
No, there's so much more.
If you handle personal injury, you are navigating HIPAA. If you handle financial data, you are under FTC safeguards, which mandates strict rules about data encryption at rest and in transit.
It's a maze.
It really is. So Mormax maps the technology directly to these regulations, completely removing the administrative headache of trying to prove compliance to an auditor or a cyber insurance provider later on.
They're essentially building the fortress, staffing the security guards, and filing all the zoning permits simultaneously.
That's a great way to summarize it.
But here's where we need to pivot, because a flawless fortress is entirely useless if the people inside can't efficiently do their jobs.
Very true.
We have focused heavily on defense, but how does this specialized tech allow a lean firm to play offense?
That is the transition from security to pure productivity. And this source makes a very definitive claim here. They state that off-the-shelf software simply does not work for legal professionals out of the box.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because I want to dig into the mechanics of that. I mean, anyone can just go online, swipe a credit card, and buy a Microsoft 365 license.
Right. Takes 2 minutes.
You instantly have Word, Outlook, Teams. Why isn't that sufficient?
Because out of the box, the generic 365 license is configured to be as open and collaborative as possible.
Oh, interesting.
It is built for a marketing agency brainstorming ideas or, a logistics company tracking shipments. It is absolutely not built to protect attorney-client privilege.
Got it.
So Mormax specializes in taking that ubiquitous platform and reconfiguring the backend specifically for legal workflows.
So what does that actually look like in practice?
It means structuring SharePoint document libraries logically by matter number rather than just dumping everything into a general folder.
Which is what everyone usually does.
Right. And it means implementing strict data loss prevention policies, or DLP.
Okay, DLP.
So if an attorney accidentally tries to email a document containing a Social Security number to an external address, the system automatically flags it and encrypts the message before it ever leaves the outbox.
That is a brilliant safety net.
It really is.
But the text goes far beyond just organizing documents and encrypting emails. It introduces the integration of artificial intelligence as a legal co-counsel.
Yes, the AI element.
And I'm looking at this AI integration, and my first thought is the financial math of a startup. Because if this AI is handling the bulk of document review, a solo practitioner doesn't need to hire a massive team of paralegals just to survive the discovery phase.
Right.
It completely changes the economic viability of a new firm. But I have to ask, with all this talk about integrating AI, is this a quiet way of replacing junior startup lawyers?
That is the exact operational leverage this technology provides. And no, there is a lot of fear in the industry about AI replacing human lawyers. But the text clarifies a very different, highly practical vision.
Okay.
They refer to the AI's target as boilerplate churn.
Boilerplate churn, meaning the endless, grueling hours a junior lawyer spends just staring at standard contracts, looking for one missing indemnity clause or a misplaced comma.
Exactly. The late nights fueled by coffee, just reading the same text over and over. The AI acts as a true co-counsel by safely ingesting these massive data sets and doing so within an isolated, encrypted environment.
Oh, so the client privilege isn't violated by feeding data to a public AI like ChatGPT.
Right, that's crucial. It stays in the vault, and then it runs instantaneous automated document reviews. It handles the heavy lifting of data synthesis.
Think about your own workflow, you listening to this. If you are starting a lean firm with just 2 or 3 people, you simply do not have the human bandwidth to sift through 10,000 emails and a corporate discovery request.
It's physically impossible.
But with properly integrated AI, you suddenly possess the processing power of a firm 10 times your size. You punch far above your weight class.
It strips away the manual drudgery. And by removing that administrative burden, the attorneys are freed up to focus entirely on high-value strategic work.
The actual lawyering.
The actual lawyering, the negotiation tactics, the courtroom strategy, the nuanced human elements of a case that an algorithm simply cannot replicate.
Okay, so we have secured the vault and we have the AI-powered productivity engine humming inside.
Yep.
But inevitably, if you execute this strategy correctly, your firm is going to grow. You will acquire more clients, you will need more staff. How does this highly specialized infrastructure handle the physical expansion of a business?
That is where the concept of modular scaling becomes vital. Startups desperately need predictable costs.
Oh, absolutely.
They cannot afford a system that works great for 3 people, but requires a complete expensive teardown and rebuild when they hire their 10th employee.
The source text describes Mormax's modular IT help desk support, and I look at it like a digital accordion.
I like that.
But it's not just about the physical hardware, it's about the mechanism of cloud licensing.
Right. Walk us through that mechanism.
So, if you are a solo practitioner working out of a home office, the accordion is squeezed tight. You are only paying for the exact software licenses, security monitoring, and cloud storage you actively use.
Very lean.
You aren't buying a massive, expensive physical server rack to sit in a closet just in case you grow. But when you land a huge case and need to hire 5 associates on a Tuesday, you just pull the accordion open.
The infrastructure stretches instantly to accommodate the new volume.
Right. Because it is cloud-based, Mormax can provision 5 new, highly secure, compliant virtual desktop environments in a matter of minutes.
Wow.
The underlying instrument doesn't break. It just expands effortlessly, and your costs scale predictably alongside your revenue.
It is a highly efficient model. But, scaling a modern firm isn't just about adding more laptops or email addresses. It's also about managing the connective tissue of the business, particularly communications.
Right, keeping everyone talking.
Because lawyers today are rarely sitting at a single desk. They're at the courthouse, they are traveling, they're negotiating from a home office.
Yeah. Which is why relying on a legacy landline phone system is a massive bottleneck.
Exactly. The source details how Mormax implements secure VoIP voice over internet protocol using platforms like Teams or 3CX. And this isn't just about clear audio, it is about advanced call routing.
So if a client calls the main office number, the system can seamlessly route that call to an attorney's cell phone while they are waiting at the courthouse.
Yep.
But without ever exposing the attorney's personal cell phone number to the client.
And tying voicemails directly to encrypted email inboxes so nothing is missed. It ensures that no matter the physical location of the team, the firm appears entirely unified and instantly accessible to the client.
And speaking of how the firm appeals to the client, there is one final critical piece to this scaling process that the source highlights. I found it fascinating that an IT company focuses on this, but it makes perfect sense: web design and social presence.
The digital storefront. It is often the very first touch point a prospective client has with your practice.
Because think about it, what good is having a highly secure, incredibly efficient, AI-powered law firm if nobody can find you on Google? Or if your website looks like it was coded in 1998?
Right, it completely undermines everything.
But it's more than just aesthetics, isn't it? The website itself has to function as an extension of that secure vault.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Clients today do not just want a static brochure or website. They expect a secure, encrypted portal where they can safely upload their tax returns, corporate financial disclosures, or sensitive evidence.
Right.
If your website is slow and lacks modern security certificates, and you are asking a client to just, email you a highly sensitive, unencrypted PDF,
Yucks.
you're instantly degrading their trust before you even take their case.
The digital storefront has to work just as hard as the attorneys do to project competence. If a client lands on a fast, elegant, and visibly secure website, they subconsciously project those exact same qualities onto your legal capabilities.
Exactly.
It creates a cohesive ecosystem where the external professionalism perfectly matches the internal security.
So we have covered a massive amount of technical ground here, from the translation gap of standard IT to the active defenses of the vault to cloud-based accordions and AI integration.
So what does this all mean? Let's synthesize the overarching verdict of this promotional guide.
Mormax operates on a core philosophy summarized in 3 simple phrases: compliance ready, always protected, simple by design.
Simple by design. That is the ultimate takeaway, because at the end of the day, technology should disappear into the background. It should simplify your operational life, not add friction to it.
Exactly.
If you are taking the massive leap to launch your own law firm, your mental energy needs to be entirely focused on acquiring clients, winning complex cases, and building your reputation in the community. You cannot afford to be playing part-time systems administrator.
And they have structured their operations to support that for firms across the country. The text actually notes that while Mormax maintains physical offices in Georgetown, Texas, and Boise, Idaho, their cloud-based architecture allows them to serve and secure law firms nationwide.
Which is incredible flexibility. For you listening, if this deep dive highlighted some vulnerabilities in your own setup, or if you are ready to build a new firm on a modern, defensible foundation, let me give you the direct contact specifics from the text.
Grab a pen.
You can explore their services at their website, www.moremax.net. You can reach out via email at hello@moremax.net. Or if you prefer to experience that secure VoIP system firsthand, you can call them directly at +1 512 503 3350.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, reviewing this kind of specialized digital architecture forces us to think about the long-term trajectory of the legal profession as a whole.
What do you mean? How does this change the future of the industry?
Think about the operational leverage we just discussed. If specialized platforms are successfully giving every lean startup and solo practitioner a flawless, impenetrable digital fortress,
Right.
and if they are arming these small teams with an AI co-counsel to instantaneously process the legal research, handle the document review, and eliminate the boilerplate churn.
It completely democratizes the operational power. The two-person startup suddenly has the back-end capabilities of a 50-person corporate firm. The playing field isn't just leveled, it's completely redrawn.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So if the technology is universally handling the raw data processing and the mechanical execution of the law, this raises a profound question.
Okay.
Will the defining factor of a successful law firm soon shift completely away from who has the most encyclopedic legal knowledge and entirely toward who has the most human empathy, strategic creativity, and the ability to foster genuine client trust?
Wow. That completely shifts the paradigm. It means that technology, rather than replacing the lawyer, actually forces the lawyer to become more deeply human.
Exactly.
It strips away the robotic tasks and leaves only the art of counsel. It really brings us right back to our starting point. That digital vault we spend all this time building isn't just there to protect data and corporate secrets.
No.
When you get right down to it, it is a vault built specifically to protect human trust.
And in a world driven by automated data, human trust will remain the single most valuable asset any startup can possess.
That is an incredible thought to end on. Whether you are actively preparing for your first day in court or just navigating the complexities of your own digital security in a modern business, keep your vaults secure and keep your focus firmly on the uniquely human things that technology can never replicate. Until next time.